13th of August, it's about 6:45 at night, 2021, Friday afternoon. Just doing this is a light climb. I'm in the middle of the Prosecco fields. That's if you watch any of my seen any of my films, videos. See in the church steeple there at Susegana. And beyond there is the Colalto Castello, the Colalto Castle. It still belongs to the family. He was a count, a feudal lord. All this land belonged to his. Still a lot of it is his. This part isn't anymore. But everyone who lived here in the village, they were serfs. They worked for him, the property of the feudal lord. It wasn't slavery, but he couldn't do much. You were just always kept busy working on the land. Your property of the lord. Colalto. It's still, the family line still hasn't been broken. It's still, the family belongs. It has the castle there. Anyway, they've got thousands of hectares of Prosecco. This is Prosecco here. As always, beyond there's the Alps. About an hour beyond there, you're in Austria. First World War, this was all Austrian territory for 100 years, from about 1815 when Napoleon was saw, because the Italians were allied with the French. And it was taken over by the Austrians, so against Napoleon. And it stayed under Austrian administration for about 100 years. So all this land, so that's why there was a war, because Italy wanted it back. And it was administered by Austria. They had all this land. There's a villa not far from me called Villa Wasserman, which means waterman. He lost it. They did a lot of good things, the Austrians. Basically, the Italians were serfs, uneducated. No one went to school. School system, primary school system, the Austrians invented. Post offices, public services, the Austrians created that. Schools, they started the education system here. Everyone was basically illiterate. No one went to school. You just born, you started working on farms, you started working for these clowns, these feudal lords, for next to nothing, just for food. And then if you drive along a lot of northern Italian roads, you see a lot of these houses, very narrow, and right next to the road, and not built outwards, to build upwards, because that was the land that was given to them for working on it. It was shitty land next to a stinky creek with running water, a road. You know, that was for like 3 generations of work. Nothing's changed today, like I'm seeing it again. Mass wealth being transferred into the hands of the few, money being printed. It doesn't go anywhere into the real economy. It just goes in the stock market. The banks get it. 0 interest rates, free money. Invest it. Anyway, change the topic. I saw an interesting video of Max Kaiser. He works for Russian television, and his wife, Stacey Herbert, saying there's correlation between, we see a lot of central control of banks, government, trying to aggregate their power with this lockdown, increasing their power, viruses, mandatory vaccines, curfews at night. We were like for a year, curfew, no one could go out after 10 o'clock. It's interesting because during the Second World War, the Germans had a curfew on the French. There were between 75,000 and 250,000 French resistance fighters with a curfew under the Nazi Germany and France. Just went to, you could go out till midnight. You could go and visit friends, go out and eat. But here in Italy, under the curfew, if we had for a year and a half, you couldn't be out on the road after 10 o'clock. You'd be stopped by the Carabinieri. I was stopped twice when I was locking up the pool. What are you doing? So I'm just closing the pool where I work. Where's that? 10 questions. So under Nazi occupation in France, there was more liberty. That's where we've arrived to. That's if you have any knowledge of history. Now go back to this. The Taliban got 20 years of fighting, $1 trillion, $2 trillion of money just wasted. Could have gone into cancer schools, hospitals, universities, infrastructure, roads. No, war, waste of money. They couldn't beat the Taliban in the 1890s. They beat the British, and the Russians had to go. More of a decade of fighting with their special forces, Spetsnaz, defeated. Then the Anglos, the Americans, the Canadians, Australians, the British, Germans, Italians, they threw everything at them. 20 years of fighting, trillions of dollars wasted, lost. The minute they stepped, they left the country, Taliban had taken over, they were sending back fighter planes, go back and forth, give it away. It's not going to happen. Anyway, that's the point Max Kaiser makes. They're decentralised. The Taliban are decentralised. There's no central power. They're 14 tribes, and they organise. Each tribe is organised in a different way. The way they fight, the way they live, the way they conduct their affairs. So you're the central. Same thing happened here with the digital currencies. Every month or every year I lose about 12% of my purchasing power. My euro, you can see it. The price is going up. So eventually it's going to go to zero. The euro will be worthless or next to nothing. They'll come up with a digital currency like the Chinese. There'll be a social award system. If you do exercise, you get paid. If you buy too much wine, you get deducted 50 euros a month. Or if you don't, this sort of thing. So Bitcoin, this is my understanding, is decentralized. No one owns it. You could be a miner. I could start mining Bitcoin now. Same with Monero. They're decentralized nodes. That's what the Taliban can't be beaten, because it's not a central power. No one controls the Taliban. It's 14 different tribal leaders, and there's probably tribes within those tribes as well. So you had this, probably the most powerful military force in human history that's ever been formed, the United States. The nuclear weapons, technology, couldn't beat them. Lost. Probably won every battle, but they lost the war. Anyway, that's my point. Decentralisation is the only way forward. It's the only way to freedom, liberty. If we're going to follow, just have one government, one world government, we're going to go to a 1984 type of situation. Well, the Soviet Union collapsed. It collapsed because there was just too much concentration of one power. You had all these 12 different ethnic groups: Ukrainians, Belarusians, Uzbeks, Russians, all living under a central power, and in the end it just broke apart. It doesn't work. Centralised governments, central banking doesn't work. It's falling apart. Digital. A small example is TVs, analogs finished, everyone's has a digital TV. And logically speaking, you have digital money. I think decentralised money, which is Bitcoin, arguably others, Monero, which can't be traced and pirate chain, are going to be the future. Or you're just going to be condemned to be working with the government. 20 or so clowns, of which none have had a real job in their lives, controlling your lives. Anyway, have a good day. This is where I live. One guy who does, he always does these films, pretty interesting, gets 100,000 views. I don't get hardly any, but I reckon my views, panoramically speaking, like 100 times better. Just have a look at this. And he walks around California, he says, look at this seascape. The seascapes are like, if you're an Aussie, it's like you're at Bondi, you're at Surfers Paradise, Mermaid Beach, or you're at Mooloolaba Beach, the Sunshine Coast. They're nice seascapes. But have a look at this. On a clear day, there's no smog. Well, I think it's smog or haze. You can see like 5 or 6 different mountain ranges. And when it's even better, snow-capped. It's a lot clearer. Have a good day. Bye for now. Until next time.